you should never skip any arc of One Piece. And since we all read the previous chapter 11 and 55, now we all realize that every arc in One Piece is as important as every arc in your mind. Like, even the worst arcs in One Piece, they are as important as the Wanos, the Elbafs, the Eggheads, the whatever arcs in your mind, okay? Because, okay, let's be honest. What's the worst possible arc that comes to your mind right now? It is like the Foxy Mountain, right? But now after reading the previous chapter, it turns out to be this arc, this god-awful arc, has one of the most important information, one of the most important lore in the history of One Piece, bro. Davy Bag fight and the idea of Davy Jones and the history, the legend of Davy Jones and everything related to that is as important as everything that comes to your mind right now. It is genuinely insane because when you think about it, like, what's the worst like arcs that everybody like mostly agrees on, right? It is like Fishman arc, the Davy Bag arc, the Foxy arc, the Punk Hazard. Some people say Skypia, some people skip Skypia, and that like trendy, like god-awful trend back then. And now we all realize that Skypia is genuinely one of the most important arcs in the history of One Piece. I mean, people just realized that after the Nika stuff and after everything that happened to Luffy and Wano, people finally realized the importance of Skypia arc. And now when you think about a Fishman arc, like as an arc, it was awful, right? It was boring, let's say. But this arc genuinely has one of the most important stuff, one of the most important information to ever like exist in One Piece, because the idea of the princess of the mermaids, Shirahoshi, and the history of the mermaids like back then, way back in the Void Century, and the idea of Davy Jones probably being a fishman, since we all know the legend of Davy Jones that he looks like an octopus and stuff, and the history of Neptune, the history of Vanderdicken, because we all know that this Vanderdicken is Vanderdicken the Ninth, okay? And even the story of the Flying Dutchman, which Brooke was talking about, that he said that a ship that has no place in this world, its tale began many centuries ago. One day, amidst a mighty storm, a crazed captain suddenly began hurling his crew members one by one into the raging sea. And when every last one was dead, he spat in the face of God himself. The name of that captain was Vanderdicken, and his ship, the Flying Dutchman. It is said that he brought the wrath of God on himself and was cursed to wander the seas forever while suffering eternal torture. And that is the story of the Flying Dutchman, and that is the story of Vanderdicken. Vanderdicken the First, it goes way back centuries ago, just like what Brooke said, and the history of the ship, like the Flying Dutchman ship. And when you watch the Pirates of the Caribbean, the movies, it is said that Davy Jones's ship was named the Flying Dutchman. So it is all connected when you think about it. And the idea of Vanderdicken the First, he is probably a human being. I do believe that, okay? But since he flew or he went or he was wandering like the seas, he went there down, way down into the Fishman. Or the idea of Vanderdicken and their obsession with the princess, like the mermaid princess, like the Shirahoshi back then, like centuries ago. And it is inherited that Vanderdicken has always wanted like the mermaid princess, the Shirahoshi of the times before, okay? So when you think about it, now we got the Vanderdicken the First and the Flying Dutchman and Davy Jones and all of this. It was in the Fishman Arc Island, like even in Thriller Park, like which I know some people consider it to be a boring arc, like it's definitely not one of the best arcs, like some people consider it to be one of the worst, right? But we got the information, we got the lore of Vanderdicken and the Flying Dutchman, which is connected to Davy Jones, which in Pirates of the Caribbean, the ship of Davy Jones was called or was named the Flying Dutchman. And now Vanderdicken in our current world, like in our current time, Vanderdicken the Ninth, he has some connection to Shirahoshi, which is the princess, the princess mermaid and stuff. And not only that, Fishman Arc has the lore of Joy Boy, bro. It was the first time Joy Boy was ever mentioned. Like at that time when Robin was reading the poneglyphs and she was talking to Neptune and stuff, it was the first time, like the apology of Joy Boy. Joy Boy's first appearance, or the first time Joy Boy was ever like named or mentioned, it was in Fishman Arc, like in Fishman Island Arc. And that is the importance of every arc in One Piece, because when you think about it, Oda is no ordinary writer or author, right? He's just insane. He he plans everything step by step. So even though like some arcs you might you might consider it as boring per se, but you cannot deny the fact that it is important. So now like Davy back fight, I do like I myself I do consider this to be the worst arc ever, because me like while watching it like live, I did not enjoy it. Like I was genuinely thinking of skipping it. Like thank God I didn't, but I was genuinely, it was that bad, okay? So this tells you a lot about even like the worst arcs in One Piece. It genuinely has one of the most like important lore in One Piece when you think about it. This is genuinely the craziness of Oda Sensei. Like he's no ordinary man, okay? He plans everything step by step, and that is why you should never skip any arc in One Piece. And that is a warning, since now One Piece is getting like a lot of like new fans. I know like some of you are like suggesting it to your friends and stuff. I do myself, like I know like 2 of my friends like watched One Piece because of me, okay? And I watched One Piece because of my brother. So it is like a circle that keeps going, right? So when you're telling your friends like to watch One Piece, do tell them to not skip any arc in One Piece, like except the filler, right? Because it is filler at the end of the day, except Foxy arc, because it is important. Like when you watch Foxy arc, it is says like some of the episodes are filler, which is confusing, but at the end of the time, like at the end of the day, tell your friends to not skip this arc and to not skip any arc in One Piece, because it is important. I guess that's it, guys. That is generally the idea of this video, because I know like since One Piece is getting new viewers and new fans and stuff, some people just wants to finally watch the final episode in One Piece, to be like caught up and to have like the fun arguments and to be included in the community of One Piece, right? I know so many people wants that, but they're just lazy because One Piece has like 1,000+ episodes and stuff. So just please tell them to not skip any arc, because it is like even the worst arcs in One Piece, they are as important as like the most important arcs in One Piece, or like the most fun arcs in One Piece, like the Elbafs and these arcs, okay? So like I said, say guys, right in the comments, what do you guys think? Like, have you ever like thought of skipping any arc? And did you think that Davy Back fight, like Davy Back arc, like it was going to be this important in this story? Like it is like include, bro, the idea of Davy Back, this arc, to be mentioned by Rocks Dizivik himself, and he was talking to Imusama, like, bro, this is insane. Okay, I'm just gonna leave this video right there. Thank you guys for watching. Write in the comments, you guys, I don't know what's right, but write in the comments what do you guys think. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. Mwah.